This conference will now be recorded. This conference will now be.
Is everyone able to see my screen?
Yes,
Yes,
Ram.
Ramji.
Yes, Ram.
Yes.
Recording is in progress, right?
This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, now let's start the class. So I was talking about the SQL queries this morning, right? The queries, how to write the queries. I'm talking about the query language, correct?
Yes, Ramji.
Yes.
SQL plus. So did everyone try to install the Oracle database?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
Any
Ramji.
questions on that? Did anyone stuck anywhere? Harsha, what was the problem you are facing?
For me, it was showing some error, Ramji, saying file missing error. So I had to like remove that again, and I downloaded other software from the same site, and now I'm unzipping it, Ramji.
Yeah, please let me know if you have any concerns. Everyone has to complete the installation by this time. But if you did not complete it, so I'll give you one more evening. I mean, you have to do it tonight. By
Okay,
tomorrow
Ramji.
morning, you have to start practicing the queries. No matter what,
Yes.
you have to start practicing the queries from tomorrow morning. Okay.
Okay,
Okay,
Ramji.
Ram.
Now, what is our username? December, right? DC
December.
2019 and December 2019. So I connected to the database from the client. I made a connection between the client and server, correct? Now
Yes.
I already told you how to create a user and how to grant the privileges to the user. So did you execute those queries? Did you
No,
execute those
Ramji.
queries or not?
Yes.
You did not work on that. Divya,
Yes, Ramji.
did you execute those queries or not? Did you create a user?
No, Ramji.
Why? What happened?
Uh, j- from morning, I got the same issue of error. Just now, I installed that one.
What about you, Savanti? Savanti, what about you?
Ramji, I didn't install it. Definitely, I'll do it this night.
You have to do it. Otherwise,
Yeah.
you'll be behind so many classes. See, from tomorrow morning, I'll go in a jet speed. Definitely, I'll go with lot
Okay.
of speed. I don't wait for anyone. I will resume the classes on time, and I will complete the things on time. So if you are not practicing, you don't remember anything. You are the loser ultimately. I'm not the loser. Okay. So this morning I told how to create the users and how to grant the privileges to the user. Then I also told how to create the table, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
So let us create one more table. So I created a table called employee table, correct? Now I'll create a
Yes.
table called student table. Create table, student table. Just open the parentheses. So student ID. Okay, every student will have a ID, right? Like roll number or whatever, student roll number or whatever it is, correct?
Yeah.
So student ID, it is a number data type. So it is a number of 6, okay, comma, I will student name, I will insert student name. It is varchar2, correct?
Yes.
So
Yes.
it's 9, varchar2 of 9, comma, maybe mocks. Mocks is number of 2 or number of 3. Okay, so I created the table. I created the table with 3 columns. Now I have a table. Now I have to store the data inside the table, correct?
Yes.
How do I store the data inside the table? By using insert.
Insert into.
So insert into student, I have to give the table name. Insert into which table? Into student table. I have to insert the
Student.
value.
Values.
So what is the value for the student ID? Maybe you give it as 100. 100 is the student ID. And student name is a varchar2. I have to give it in the single quotes. Okay.
Single quote.
So
Yes.
Yes.
A, B, C, D. Okay. And marks is 100 or marks is 95. Okay. So one record is in one row inserted, correct? One row inserted in the table. Agree?
Yes.
Yes.
So now let me insert one more row. So insert into student values. The student ID is 101. Student name is XYZ. That should be in the single quotes. And marks is 76. So second row is inserted, correct?
Yes.
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 For example, if I want to insert one more row, so 102, comma, okay. So ASDF or ASDF, the name is very big name, okay. This is the name of a person, okay. This is the name of a person, okay.
Okay.
Comma, marks is 65. I got an error.
Error.
So I'm sending a query, listen carefully, I'm sending a query to the database. I'm asking the database, I'm sending the query from the client. Actually, client is sending the query. No, I'm not sending the query. Client is sending the query to the server, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
So client is asking database, hey database, please insert this particular record in the table. Please insert this particular student record in the table, correct? Student ID is 102, student name is so and so, and student marks is 76 or whatever it is. So you're sending a query to the database. Now database is giving you error back saying that, hey, I can't insert this record in the table. I can't insert this particular record in the student table because in the student table, when you are creating the table, you gave the name of the length of the column, the student name column, the maximum length is 9 characters. You cannot go beyond the 9 characters. You cannot go beyond 9 characters. The maximum length of the student name is 9. So that is what I mean by 9. Var2 of 9 or number of 6. This is the length of a column. So the maximum number of digits you can give in a student ID is 6 digits. You can give a 6-digit ID, but you cannot give more than 6-digit ID because the length of the column is 6.
Yes.
Here the length of the
Yes.
column is 9. So in the student name, I am giving more than 9 characters. So I am trying to give ASDF so many characters, right?
Yes.
So the maximum is 9 characters, but you're giving 14 characters. So the database is saying that I cannot accommodate 14 characters in the student name column because the maximum number of characters I can accommodate in the student name is 9 characters. That is how you define the table. That is how you created the table. While creating the table, you said that there are 3 columns. The first column name is student ID. The second column name is student name. The third column name is student marks, correct? And you
Yes.
also told
Yes.
that the student ID is a number data type and the maximum number of digits that are allowed in the student ID column is 6, correct?
Yes.
And you also told that the maximum number of characters that is allowed in the student name is 9 characters. The maximum number of digits allowed in the marks is 3 digits, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, Ram.
So, but right now you're giving more than 9 characters in the student name, so that is not allowed. Agreed?
Yes.
Yes.
So what I'll do is I'll give, if I give the less than 9 characters, this is less than 9 characters, right? This is exactly 9 characters, correct?
Exactly 9. Yes.
Now if I give student marks as 4 digit, will it allow?
No.
No.
No. No.
It is an error. It will say that value is larger than the specified precision.
Yes.
So actually the allowed precision is 3 characters, correct? In the
Yes.
marks, but you are giving 4 characters. So 4 digits, sorry, 4 digits. So if I give 3 digits, then it is allowed. Sorry, I missed the parenthesis. So I forgot to give the closing bracket. I gave the opening bracket, but the closing bracket is not given, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
So now I gave the closing bracket. Now the record is created. So in database, how many rows are created till now in this particular table, in the student table?
3.
3. 3.
3 rows are created. Each row is called a record. Each row is called a record in the table. So how many records are there in the student table?
3.
3
3 records.
records.
So the first row is the record of the first student. It's a first student record,
Yes.
correct? What is the
Yes.
student ID, what is the student name, and what is the marks? So the second record is second student's record, correct? The third
Yes.
record is all students record. Agreed or not?
Yes.
Yes.
So this is how I have to store the data in the table by using the insert query. By using the insert query, I can store the data in the table. I can insert the record in the table. I can insert a record in the table. Any questions here?
No.
No.
For example, if I say insert into student values, so I'm giving the student name as ASDFGH. I give the student ID as 345 and I give the marks as 67. Okay. I gave the student name as ASDFGH, student ID is 345 and marks is 67. Agreed?
Yes.
Yes.
So, but how does the database knows that? So you're asking the database, hey, database, please insert the record in the student table. Correct? You're asking the database. The client is asking the database. The SQL plus client is asking the database, please insert a record in the student table with these values. With these values. Agreed?
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
but how does the database knows that? So this ASDFGH value should be inserted in the student name, and this is the student ID, and these are the student marks. How does the database knows that? Your database, the table has 3 columns, but you're not telling the first value is for which column, the second value is for which column, the third value is for which column. Did you say that?
No.
No.
How does the database knows that this 345 is student ID? How does it knows that 67 is marks? Did you say that? Did you tell the database? So 345 is the student ID and 67 is the marks.
No.
You're
No.
asking the database to insert the data in the student table, but this data belongs to which column? You're not saying that, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
You're not saying that. So if I say like this, 1 second, something went wrong. So I'm giving the student name first, correct? And I'm giving the ID next and marks next. If I give like this, it is an error, correct?
Yes.
What is the
Yes.
error? It's saying that invalid number, because when you are giving the values in the table, you have to give in the order. So what is the order in what order the columns are created? What is the first column in the table? The first column in the table is student ID. The second column is student name. The third column is marks, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So while creating the table, you created the table, create table student, you gave the student ID first, then you gave the student name, then you gave the marks. So that is the order in which the table is created. The first column is student ID, but the first value you are giving is a varchar2. It's not a number, correct?
Yes.
So the database is not allowing that. So you're trying to insert a varchar2 data in the number column, because the first column is a student ID column, but you're giving the name in that column, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
So the database is not allowing that. It's invalid now. It's saying that it's invalid number because the database is expecting a number, because the first column is the number column, correct?
Yes.
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 So database is giving an error back. Hey, I can't insert this record in the table because it's an invalid number. Getting it?
Yes.
Mm.
So in that case, I have to remember the order. What is the first one? The student ID. So it is 234. What is the second one? It's student name, correct?
Name.
And what is the third one? Marks. So you have
Marks.
to remember the order. If you don't remember the order, you'll end up in errors, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Now the record is inserted correctly because you followed the order properly, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So do you think it is easy to remember the order? Obviously not. So
No.
right now in this particular table there are only 3 columns, but let us assume that in the table you have 100 columns. Can you remember the order of all the 100 columns?
No.
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 For example, you have a student ID, student name, student marks, and student gender. Okay. So and student age and student address. So if you have so many columns in the table, it's not possible to remember the order of the columns, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Then how
Yes.
can you insert the data in the table if you don't remember the order? Correct?
Yes.
Yes.
So for that reason, you can specify insert into student. You have to specify the column names. So student name, you can give the name of the column, student name, comma salary, comma student ID, values. So insert into student, I'm giving the column names in the brackets. Now I'm giving the values for those columns. So now in student name, I'm giving ASDFJ, something like this. In the student salary, I'm giving, sorry, there is no salary, right? It's a marks, correct?
Yeah.
Marks. Why
Yes.
you are not talking about that then? You have to tell me if I write something wrong. Values. Are you understanding or not?
Yes,
Yes.
Ramji.
Yes.
Without
Yes.
giving
Yes.
another example for error.
So student name is FJHK and student marks is 87 and student ID is maybe 236. So in I'm inserting the data into the student table. In these columns, these are the values I'm inserting, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it will insert the record correctly. You need not remember the order. You are specifying the column names, correct? In this column, this is the value. In this column, this is the value. In this column, this is the value. You need not remember the order. In any order, you can insert the data. For example, if I want to insert into student marks, student name, okay, marks, student name, and student ID. Okay, so values. So first is marks, maybe it is 69, comma, student name is, okay, and student ID is, so did I insert the record in the database or not?
Yes.
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 So this is how we have to insert the data in the database. This is the syntax. You have to follow the syntax to execute this query. I mean, you have to give the right syntax. So if you give the right, if you send the query, to the database, database will execute the query. Because who is executing the query? Database is executing. Database understands the query and executes it. Correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
And finally, database is creating a record in the student table. So where is the student table is present? It is present inside the database.
Database.
From the client, you request to the database, a database please create the table called student. You send a query to the database. Now database understand the query and it created a table called student in the database. Correct?
Right.
Yes.
Yes.
Then you are sending one more query, a database please insert this record in the student table. So database understands the query and insert a record in the student table which is already present in the database. Correct? For
Yes.
example,
Yes.
if I ask to insert into address values, if I give some values like this, so do you have a table called address?
No.
No.
It will give you table does not exist, correct?
Yes.
You are asking database, a database please insert the record in the address table. But database does not have a table called address, correct? So database
Yes.
gives you error back, hey, I don't have a table called address. So where do you want me to insert? There is no table called address, correct? I can't insert the record. I'm sorry, I can't execute your query. I'm sorry, I can't execute your query. That's what database is telling back to the client,
Yes.
Okay.
correct? Any questions
Yes.
here?
Yes. No, Ram.
No.
Did everyone understand the insert query?
Yes,
Yes.
Ram.
So now I inserted some record. I inserted a few records in the database, correct? In the student
Yes.
table, I inserted few records. How many records I inserted? Did you remember? Obviously, you didn't remember, right?
No.
Yeah.
You don't know how many records are inserted in the student table, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
So if you want to read, if you want to get the data from the table, because for storing the data in the table, you are writing an insert query. You are inserting the data in the table by using insert query, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
If you want to get the data from the table, what is the data present in the table? If you want to get the data, from the table, you have to write a select query.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
1 second, hold on. Okay. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah.
So select what do you want to get which data you want to get? You want to get student ID, comma, student name, comma, marks from student table. Correct?
Yes.
So,
Yes.
So you want to select these three columns data from this table. You're sending the query to database. A database, please select the data from these columns from this table. Correct?
yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Student ID is where student spelling wrong. Correct? Select student ID, student ID, student ID, comma, student name, comma, marks from student. So this is the data present in the student table. Correct? It is collecting
Yes.
student ID, student name, and marks. Correct?
Yes.
Yes.
So these are the records. How many records are inside? How many rows are selected? Are you able to see that?
Yes.
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 Six.
Six.
Six rows are selected. It is clearly showing 6 rows. Correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So 6 rows are selected. So for example, if I want to select student name, comma, marks from student table, I want to select only these two columns. I don't want the student ID. I'm asking database, hey database, please give me the data present in the student table, but I don't want the entire data. I just want the student name and the marks. Only these two columns data I want. You're selecting only those two columns, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
So
Ram.
whatever the data you want, you can select the data. You can get the data from the database. You have to write a query and get the data from the database, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
For example, if I say select marks from student table, I'll get only marks.
Only marks. Yes.
I don't get the other data because I'm selecting only marks column, correct?
Yes.
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 This is how you store the data in the table by using insert query, and this is how you get the data from the table by using select query. Okay?
Yes.
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 For example, if I have 100 columns in the table, like student ID, student name, marks, gender, age, and everything. Okay, there are 100 columns are there in the student table. I want to get all the data. I want to get all the data present in the student table. I want the student ID, I want the student name, I want the student marks, I want the student gender. I want each and every data present in the student table. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
What should I write? I have to write select
Star from
student ID, comma
Student.
student name, comma marks, comma, and so on. Right? I have to write so many columns. Correct?
Yes.
Yes.
I have 100 columns in the table. I have to select each and every column. So, but that is not practically possible, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So instead, you can say select star,
Star. Yes.
Yes.
star from student table. Star means all. Star means all. That is the meaning of star. All columns, ALL, all columns. So you are selecting all the columns. You are not selecting a particular column. You are selecting all the columns. Okay?
Yes.
Yes.
You are selecting all the columns from the student table. So star from student. So did you select? Did you get all the columns in the student table?
Yes.
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 Even if you have 100 columns, you'll get all the 100 columns data because you're selecting all the columns. That is the shortcut. Short star is nothing but all the columns. Correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Any questions here?
No.
No.
So this is how you store the data in the table, and this is how you get the data from the table. By using a select query, you'll get the data, and by using insert query, you will insert the data in the table.
Yes, Ram.
Yes, Ram.
So similarly, so I also have employee table, right? I created an employee table and I inserted some data in the table. Agreed?
Yes.
Yes.
So select star from employee, correct? If I want to see the data, I can see select star from employee. So how many records are there?
No rows.
No records.
No.
But morning
No
I
records.
records, right?
Yes.
No records. Yes.
So why there are no records in the table? Morning I
There is no.
inserted some data. Huh? Morning I inserted
Because
some data in the table, right?
we did not save that table, Ramji. Oracle automatically deletes the tables if at all we don't save it as soon as we close it. That's what I know, I think.
So database means we are storing the data, correct? That is the purpose of
Yes.
database. Otherwise, what is the purpose of database? Will you agree?
Yes.
Yeah.
What is the purpose of
Yeah.
database? We have to store some information, and whatever the information we are storing, that has to be permanent. That information has to be permanently stored in the database, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
What is the information I'm storing in the database? That information has to be permanently stored in the database. Agreed or not?
Yes.
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 So morning I store some information, but evening when I log in again, I don't see that information. I don't see the data. Correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely, if that is the case, why people will use database? Correct? No one will appreciate this kind of application. No one will appreciate this kind of product. No one will use this database. Correct?
Yes.
Yes.
So every database has few properties. So the first property is whatever the information you are storing in the database, that has to be permanently stored. Otherwise, that is not a good database, and no one will use the database. Correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the first property of any database, if I'm developing my own database, for example, Oracle company developed a database called Oracle database. Correct?
Yes.
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 IBM company developed a database called DB2. Correct?
Yes.
Even I can develop my own database. Agreed. I can develop the software as my own database. Agreed.
Yes.
So if I have to sell my product, whatever the product I develop, whatever the software I develop, if I have to sell it, because if I have to sell it, otherwise what is the purpose of developing the product if I don't sell it? Correct. I'm
Yeah.
investing a lot of time and lot of money. So in creating a software, obviously the Oracle company hired so many developers. The Oracle company had so much of infrastructure. They have taken buildings for rent, and they bought all the laptops and everything, and all the infrastructure they built. And finally they hired so many developers. They paid a lot of salaries, and they developed a product. For what purpose they are developing the product? They have to sell the product, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So if they have to sell the product, so definitely that product should be accepted by everyone. I mean, everyone has to like that product, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Otherwise, no
Yes.
one will buy the product, agreed? So
Yes.
the basic property of any database is whatever the information you're storing in the database, that has to be stored permanently in the database. That is the first property. Okay. So durability. That is the first property of the database. Durability. So durability means it should be it's durable. It's permanently stored in the database. Getting it?
Yeah.
Yes.
This is the basic
Yes.
property of any database. This is the basic property of any database. Every database has some characteristics. This is the basic characteristic of any database. Otherwise, no one will use that database. Correct?
Yes.
And the second characteristic is consistency. The second characteristic is consistency. So every database should be consistent. It means, for example, when I run the query, when I run the query, select start from student. I got how many rows I got? I got 6 rows. Correct?
6 rows. Yes.
This is the result I got from the database. The client got this response from the database. Client send a request to the database, and database send a response back to client. Correct?
Yes.
Yes.
If the client send the same request again, the same response should come. You should not get the different response second time. Correct?
Yes.
So when you say select start from student, You have to get the same, because the same, you're asking the database, hey, database, please give me the data present in the student table, correct?
Yes.
It has to give the same response. So it should give it should be consistent. Whatever the response you got in the first request, you have to get the same response in the second request also. Getting it?
Yeah.
So that is about consistency. So every database, if I have to buy that software, if I have to buy the database, if I have to buy the license of the database, definitely I have to first of all I have to check whether it is durable or not. I have to check whether it is consistent or not, correct? Otherwise, why will I use the database? Agreed?
Yes.
Yes.
So when I ask the database, give me the data from the student table. For the first time, it is giving some 6 records. For the second time, it is giving 4 records. For the third time, it is giving 8 records. How it means it's not consistent, correct? It's not giving the response consistently. Agreed?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
Ramji.
So every database has to be durable, and every database has to be consistent. Okay, consistency is the next another characteristic. So there are two more characteristics called atomicity and isolation. I'll talk about these characteristics later, not now. So actually these are called atomicity, consistency, okay, isolation and durability. So these are the acid properties, ACID. ACID. Every database should have these acid characteristics. Every database should have these acid characteristics, whether it's a DB2 database, whether it's a MySQL database, whether it's a SQL Server database, whatever might be the database. So every database should have these characteristics. Otherwise, I don't call it as a database. Otherwise, I don't call it as a database. Correct?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
So every database should have these acid properties. So I'll talk about what is isolation and what is durability later. Oh, sorry, not durability. The atomicity. Okay.
Atomicity.
I already told what is a durability and what is a consistency. Agreed?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
Ramji.
Okay. So now the basic characteristic itself is violated now, because what are the data I'm storing in the employee table, I'm not able to see the data in the evening. What are the data I stored in the morning, I'm not able to see the data in the evening. Correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
So the durability characteristic is violated. Agreed? The basic characteristic itself is violated. So then how can I call this as a database? Agreed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Oracle database is the more popular database in the market. That's what I told. So obviously whatever we are doing is wrong. Agreed?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll talk about that in tomorrow's class, about this durability again. But for time being, I don't want to get deviated from the topic. So I told you how to insert the data in the table and how to get the data from the table. How to insert the data in the table and how to get the data from the table. And I'll talk about the durability in the tomorrow morning class. Okay.
Okay, Ramji.
Okay, Ramji.
I want to continue with the other topics now. So next thing is, for example, in the student table, by mistake, so when I say select star from students, select star from students, so I'm sorry, select star from what happened? Students table is also there. Student, okay, not students. Select star from student, correct? So this is the data in the student table. So while I'm inserting the data in the table, by mistake I gave the marks as 95. Actually, he got only 93 marks, but by mistake I inserted the data as 95. Okay.
Yes, Ramji.
So
Yeah.
now I want to go and update the data. So by mistake I inserted the data. So, but definitely I should be able to update it. If I'm not able to update it, so then it's not definitely it's not a good database. Agreed?
Yes.
Yes.
By mistake I gave some wrong data. I entered some wrong data. Now I should be able to correct it. I should be able to update the data. Agreed?
Yes.
Yes.
Let me write a update query. Update. So I wrote a select query already. I wrote a insert query already. Now I'm writing the update query. So update. So which table I want to update? Student table, correct?
Student table.
So what I want to update? I want to update the marks. So set marks
Marks.
equal to set marks equal to 93, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Update student, and I'm setting the marks equal to 93. So semicolon. Set marks equal to 93 semicolon. Then how many rows are updated?
All rows will get 90.
Yeah, because all the rows are updated. I did not tell the database which row has to be updated. It will update the entire table because you told the database update the student table. So what update you want to do? So set marks equal to 93. So it will set marks equal to 93 for every record because you did not tell the database for which record you want to set marks equal to 93, correct?
Yes.
So for that purpose, what you'll do is
Where?
update student set marks equal to 97 where student ID equal to 100. So I'm telling where student ID equal to 100. Only for that record update to update the student table marks equal to 97. So where student ID equal to 100, only for that record the marks will be updated, correct?
Yes.
So when you send this query to database, when you send this particular query to database, so database will understand this query. So it will go to the first record. It will check if the student ID is 100. Yes, the student ID is 100. So it will update the marks equal to 97. Correct?
97. Yes.
So if you go to the next record, it will check if the student ID is 100. So it is not 100. So it will not update. It will go to the third record. It will check if the student ID is 100. It will go to the fourth record. It will go to the fifth record. It will go to the sixth record. It will go to each and every record and check whether the student ID is 100 or not. Correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So student ID is 100. So how many rows are updated?
One.
One row.
One.
One row. One row.
One row updated. If you want to check, select star from employee. Sorry, not employee, student. Correct?
Student. Student.
So let's start from student. So I have all the rows as 93, but there is only one row which is 97, where student ID equal to 100. Correct?
Yes.
So in the previous query, I updated the student table and set marks equal to 93. So I update every record with 93. Correct?
Yes.
Yes.
So then again I updated student set marks equal to 97, where student ID equal to 100. So only this particular record I updated. Correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so this is how you have to write a update query. The syntax of the query is update table name, which table you want to update, the student table. So update student. So what do you want to update? Marks you want to update. So set marks equal to 97 or whatever you want to set. So you have to give a where clause. This is called where clause. Where
Yes. Yes.
clause. You are applying a clause. You are giving a condition. And not for every record. Only when student ID equal to 100. You are giving a clause. You are giving a condition there. Correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Where condition. You are giving a condition. It's a conditional query. This query is a conditional query. You're applying a where condition. So not for every record, only for this particular record you update the marks. You're giving a where clause. There's a clause, correct?
Yes.
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 Okay, so this is about the update query. For example, if I want to update student set marks equal to 88, okay, and I also want to update, so for this particular person, by mistake I gave 93. Now I want to update it as 88, okay, 87 or whatever it is. I want to update the marks correctly now, correct? And I also by mistake I gave the name as XYZ. Actually his name is XYZ and A. There are 4 characters in the name, but by mistake I entered only 3 characters. I gave a wrong spelling and I entered the wrong spelling in the spelling in that record. So I have to correct it now, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
I can update the student name and I can also update the marks. I entered 2 things wrong here. Correct? Not only one column. I entered 2 columns data as wrong. Correct?
Yes.
So you have to get the comma separated. Set marks equal to 88, comma, okay, and student name equal to, so give XYZ and A. This is his name, okay. So I have to specify for which record, where student ID is equal to 101, correct? How many rows are updated?
1 2.
One row.
So it is comma separated. Set marks equal to 88, comma student name equal to this much. So I'm updating two columns by using comma separated, correct? I'm setting the values for two columns.
Yes.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
here student ID equal to 101. So now you can go and check select star from student.
Student.
Now you can see it is 88 and XYZA, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
For the student ID 101. Agreed?
Yes.
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 So did everyone understand the update query?
Yes.
Yes.
So you can update any number of columns in a single query. You can say update student set marks equal to comma, age equal to comma, gender equal to comma. You can set multiple values in a single query. Getting it?
Yes.
And you have to apply where clause. If you don't apply a where clause, so for each and every record that will be updated.
Yes.
Similarly, if I want to know what is the marks, select marks from student table, I'll get all the marks, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
don't want to get all the marks. I want to get the marks of a particular student. I want to know how many marks a particular student got. Maybe the student ID 100 or student ID 101. So I have to say that select marks from student table where
Yeah.
student ID equal to 101. I'll get only that particular marks for the student ID
Yes.
101, correct?
Yes.
So the 101 person got 88 marks, correct? So
Yes.
88. Where student ID equal to 101.
Yeah.
Any questions here? Any questions here?
No.
No, Raj.
So let us assume that right now there are 6 students. In this particular school there are 6 students, but after 1 month, one student left the school and he joined another school. Correct? So
Yes.
Yes.
left the school and he joined another school. Now that particular student is no more present in the first school. He is in the second school. Correct?
Yes.
Yes.
So I don't want to maintain that particular student record in my school database because every school will have its own database, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
So in my database, I don't want to maintain that particular person record because he already left the school. I don't want to maintain his record. I want to delete the record. I want to delete the student record from a table. So right now there are 6 students, but I want to delete one of the record from the table. So I have to write a delete query. So delete from student where student ID equal to I want to delete student ID 236. He left the school, so I want to delete the records from the database, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Delete from student. So this is the delete query. This is the next query that you have to learn, delete query. You already
Yes.
learned the query, insert query, and update query. Now you are learning the delete query. So you are deleting from the student table. So which record you are deleting? Where student ID equal to 236, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Where student ID equal to 236. So how many rows are deleted?
One row.
One.
So you're sending this query from the client to the server. Your client is sending the query to the server. Client is asking the server, hey server, please execute this query. Please delete the record from the table. Now database will understand this query and it will delete the record from the table. So, for example, if you ask the database, please delete the record where student ID equal to 878. So do you have a record called 878?
No.
No.
So how many records are deleted here?
0.
0.
So when you ask the database to delete this particular record, so database is giving back 0 records are deleted because there is no record with that ID, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
So for example, if you say delete from student, if you don't specify where class, you're asking to delete from the student table. So it will delete every record from the student table. because it did not specify the where clause and it did not give any condition which record needs to be deleted. So it will delete each and every record, correct?
Yes.
How many records are deleted?
5 rows.
So because there are only 5 records in the table, because they
records.
already deleted 1 record, so there are only 5 records in the table, but those 5 records are also deleted, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
So now when I say select star from student, how many records are there in the table now?
0 records.
0 records. No rows.
No records.
No records in the table. You're asking
Yes.
the database, give me all the records from the student table, but database is telling no records are selected, no rows are selected, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
No data in the table. You deleted the entire data.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is how you create the data in the table by using the insert query, and you read the data from the table by using select query. You're reading the data from the table and you're updating the data in the table by using the update query, and you're deleting the data from the
Delete.
table by using delete query.
Yes.
So we learned about the CRUD operations, how to create the data, how to read the data, how to update the data, how to delete the data, because these are the operations we do in database. These are the operations we perform in database. So do you perform any other operation other than this? You create it, you update it, you delete it, you read it. Do you think any other operations you do in database?
No.
No.
Okay, so this is about data. You're creating the data, you're reading the data, you're updating the data, you're deleting the data. But if you want to create the data, if you want to insert the data, first of all you should have a table, correct? Without table, can you store the data?
No.
No.
So first of all, you have to create a table. That is different. I'm talking about only data. I'm talking about only the data in the table. These are the operations you do with data. You create the data, you insert the data. I mean, you create the data, you update the data, you delete the data, and you read the data. So these are the things you do with respect to data, correct?
Yes.
But of course, if you want to create the data, you need a table. You have to create a table first, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
You will create some data in the table, correct?
Yeah.
So I'm not talking about those things. I'm talking with respect to data. I'm not talking about how to create a table and all those things. I'm talking about how to create the data, how to read the data, how to update the data, and how to delete the data.
Yes, Ramji.
Yes,
So with
Ramji.
respect to data, these are the operations we perform. These are the operations we perform in the database, correct? We don't perform
Yes.
any other operations with respect to data. Any other questions?
No.
No, Ramji.
No,
Okay.
Ramji.
So I want to stop this class for now because first of all, I wanted everyone to install the database and I wanted everyone to perform these basic CRUD operations. I want everyone to know how to create a table, how to create the data, how to read the data, how to update the data, how to delete the data. I want everyone to know these basic things. If you know these basic things, I can increase the complexity in the topic. I want everyone to practice this and come to the next class.
Okay, Ramji.
Ramji.
Because you already wasted a lot of time this morning. So I don't know what you do, but by tomorrow morning you have to practice this.
Okay.
It doesn't take much time because if you install the database, how much time it will take for you to write these 5 queries or 6 queries, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
So I want everyone to practice this. Worst case, at least by tomorrow evening, I want everyone to complete this.
Okay, Ramji.
Tomorrow morning we have a class. We have a class at 8:30 Eastern time. Okay, we have a class at 8:30 Eastern time, or hold on. Yeah, we'll have a class at 8:30 Eastern time. So if there are any changes, I will let you know in the group.
Okay.
Okay, Ramji.
If I don't inform you, it means the class is there at 8:30.
Okay.
Are you people open for 8 o'clock also?
Yeah,
Yes.
it's okay.
Yeah.
Yes, Ramji.
Okay, then let's have a class at 8 o'clock, 8 a.m. Eastern time. In that case,
Okay.
I'll take the class for sure.
Okay,
Okay.
Ram.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, let's have class at 8 a.m. Eastern time. Okay.
Okay, Ram.
Okay. Bye.
Okay, class.